So this video will tell us about the introduction to spectroscopy. What are the types of electrons present in a molecule? And principle of UV visible spectroscopy. So we know that spectroscopy, it is the study of interaction between the molecules and any kind of electromagnetic radiations. So what is this electromagnetic radiation? So your electromagnetic radiation is composed of various waves, right? Electromagnetic radiation is composed of various light rays, so this EMR is nothing but it is a range of light rays which comes from gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, visible light or visible rays, IR, then you have radar, then you have other types, right? So you have even radio frequency waves also here, right? So now when any one of these type of electromagnetic radiation is passed on to a molecule, certain changes occurs within the molecule, right? So when we are going to study that interaction between the molecules and electromagnetic radiations, we call that as an spectroscopy. Now we have different types of spectroscopy based upon the nature of the absorption or emission or based upon the molecule, right? So you have different types of spectroscopy. One is emission spectroscopy, and second is absorption spectroscopy, and third one is scattering spectroscopy. Now coming to this emission spectroscopy, if I am going to read the effect of emitter light radiations when these electromagnetic radiations, that is when your electron is going to absorb electromagnetic radiations, they will be going to their excited higher energy levels and they will be returning back to their original state by emitting light radiations. So that is a study of this emission of EMR, you call that as emission spectroscopy. So example for this emission spectroscopy is fluorimetry, flame photometry, atomic emission spectroscopy. Coming to this absorption spectroscopy, it is a spectroscopic method where your electromagnetic radiations are absorbed by the sample. Your electromagnetic radiations are absorbed by the sample and it undergoes some changes and the molecule undergoes some changes. So that is called as the absorption spectroscopy. So examples of this absorption spectroscopy are UV visible spectroscopy, IR spectroscopy, NMR spectroscopy, you have atomic absorption spectroscopy. So coming to this scattering spectroscopy, certain molecules when they are irradiated with any type of electromagnetic radiation, some amount of light will be scattered. So if I am going to measure the amount of light scattered, then it is called as scattering spectroscopy, and an example for this is Raman spectroscopy, and an example for this is Raman spectroscopy. Now coming to our main topic, UV visible spectroscopy. So this UV visible spectroscopy is the study of the interaction between the molecules and the ultraviolet radiations, ultraviolet rays of your electromagnetic spectra. So UV visible spectroscopy is the study of is the study of the interaction between the molecules and your UV visible radiations. Now, so how do I tell that a molecule is going to absorb your UV visible radiations? So you require certain conditions, right? So we know that all the molecules, whether it is a small molecule or a complex molecule, all molecules will have three types of electrons which are present there, right? So all molecules will have three types of electrons which are present there, and these three types of electrons are responsible for electronic transition. These three types of electrons are responsible for their electronic transitions. So what are those three types of electrons? So these three types of electrons are sigma electrons, which are present in saturated molecules. You have, this is first type, and second type is pi electrons, which are present in unsaturated molecules, and third we have n electrons, that is they are called as non-bonding electrons. They are called as non-bonding electrons which are present in non-bonded elements, So these electrons, pi electron, sigma electron, pi electron and n electron, these electrons, they absorb UV visible radiation and they causes the excitation of your molecule. So from where your excitation occurs? So if, for example, if you consider this to be the electronic configuration of an molecule, so the electron in the valence shell, so this is supposed to be in your ground state. This is supposed to be in the ground state, which is an stable one, So an electron from the ground state, by absorbing UV visible radiations, this will be promoted to the excited state. So the movement from the ground state to a higher energy state, it can be categorized into four types of electronic transitions. So first one is sigma to sigma star transition, pi to pi star transition, and non-bonding electron, it may go to sigma star or it may even go to pi star. So coming to the sigma to sigma star transition, so this is an sigma to sigma star transition, in this type of transitions, the electron in a molecule, it moves from your bonding sigma electron to its anti-bonding